All praises, all praises. I think we live. First and foremost, I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh by Shema Mashiach, Yahweh Shai. That's who the world only calls Jesus Christ. I'm Shatar Dubaka Ward, and
I'm Officer Kudash.
And we're back at it with another Saturday Soul Food class, man. And how it says, right? It says the Quran is not going to say black people, man. And that's something Black, Hispanic, Native, and Seminole Indians need to understand, right? Ain't no Quran gonna save you. Is none of these religions out here are going to save black people from their problems. So we got to have an understanding on that, right? So how everybody doing in the chat, man? How are people doing in the chat? Put a one in the chat if you can hear me. Put a one in the chat if you can hear me. Also, like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe, man. Put a one in the chat if you can hear me, man, so we can go ahead and get into the lesson, man. I see all y'all people in the chat, man. Shalom to the tribe of Issachar. Shalom to FM Blue. All the people who be shouting me out, man. Shalom. Okay. All praises, man. So they can hear me, right? So let's go ahead and start, right? Let me get Romans 8 and 16, right? 8 and 16. Like, share, and subscribe, man. Because we gotta I want to lay down a foundation before I start going in on these Quran, especially this black brother, right? Because I got a video of a brother. We're gonna use him as the backdrop of it, right? His name is Rashad Abdul, right? So we're gonna use that brother as a backdrop to getting on the Quran, right? So go ahead.
This is the book of Romans, chapter 8, verse 15.
16,
verse 16. The Spirit itself beareth witness with our spirit that we are the children of God.
That we are what?
The children of God.
So it's a spirit that's bearing witness with our spirit that we are the children of God. What it means? It's a spirit that's like connected with this Bible, with Black, Hispanic, Native, and Seminole Indians, right? It's connecting with us. It's the spirit that bear witness, right? So the things, the trial, the tribulation of the biblical Israelites are the same trial and tribulations that we suffer, right? Even to this day. So nothing is new under the sun, right? So let me go into how the Most High is really not dealing with Muslims or Islam, that religion. And ultimately, he ain't dealing with them Arabs, man. The Lord is not dealing with Arabs, right? So let's get into the history of the Israelites, right? So let's get 2 Kings 17 and 14. But I want to get it out to see the CEV, all right? Tribe of Issachar said the only thing that the Quran is good for is using it as toilet paper to wipe me down, right?
Wow.
Wipe me down, right? Of course, he used some colorful languages, but I'm gonna just say wipe me down, right? All right. How y'all doing, right? My man. Yeah, that'll work. The CEV, right?
All right. 2 Kings chapter 17, verse 14. The CEV. Is it?
Second Kings 17?
Or is it this one right
here? Shoot, it's okay. I get it, right? I'll read it, right? It's the book of 2 Kings chapter 17, verse 14 and verse 15 in the CEV, right? It says, but the Israelites would not listen. They were as stubborn as their ancestors who had refused to worship the Lord their God. They ignored the Lord's warnings and commands, and they rejected the solemn agreement he had made with their ancestors. They worshiped worthless idols and became worthless themselves. The Lord had told the Israelites not to do the things that the foreign nations around them were doing. But Israel became just like them, right? So Israel became just like the other nations around them while serving worthless idols. What's a worthless idol? Let's get into it, right? Let's get into a worthless idol, right? Hey, and while you I'm getting this, you'll get Jeremiah 2 and 25 and 28, but get it in the GNT, right? So we're gonna get on to a worthless idol. What is a worthless idol? Let's get into a worthless idol. Jeremiah 2:25 to 28 in the GNT, right? Let me share my screen. I'm finna get on to a worthless idol. Y'all gotta understand what a worthless idol is. Right? This is a worthless idol right here. It's called the cobblestone, right? The cobblestone in Mecca, right? Let me click on it. This thing right here is a goddamn worthless idol. The cobblestone in Mecca. This little black thing right here. This is a worthless idol that black people have a love for, right? Right. That is a worthless idol, right? You got what I want, King?
Yes, sir.
All right, go ahead.
Look at Jeremiah chapter 2, verse 25. Israel, don't wear your feet out, or let your throat become dry from chasing after other gods.
From what?
Chasing after other gods.
Uh-huh.
But you say, no, I can't turn back. I have loved foreign gods and will go after them.
And you know what?
Go after them.
And that's what we do. We love foreign gods and we go after them, right? What?
Verse 26. The Lord says, just as a thief is disgraced when caught, so all you people of Israel will be disgraced. Your kings and officials, your priests and prophets, you will be disgraced. You that say that a tree is your father and that a rock is your mother.
And that a what?
And that a rock is your mother.
And that rock that y'all claiming to be your mother is what? The cobblestone, right? A rock shall be your mother, right? Go ahead.
This will happen because you turned away from me instead of turning to me. But when you are in trouble, you ask me to come and save you.
And that's what we do right now. We ask the Most High, we ask Yahweh, can he save us? Even though we're looking at this cobblestone, this Islamic religion to save us, right? Go ahead.
Come and save you. Verse 28. Where are the gods that you made for yourselves? When you are in trouble, let them save you.
It said what?
When you are in trouble, let them save you.
So when we get in trouble, we have to let them save us, right? Go ahead.
If they can.
If they what?
If they can.
And we understand that goddamn cobblestone cannot save us, right? Go ahead.
Judah, you have as many gods as you have cities.
And that's what y'all do, man. Y'all love all these idols almost to the detriment of how many cities you got, right? Hey, put a one. Hey, can y'all hear Kodash? Can you hear the brother Kodash? Put a one in the chat if you can hear him. If y'all can't hear him, put a two. I just want to make sure y'all can hear him. Can y'all hear the brother Kodash? But right here, right, this cobblestone, right? Black stone, like black people love these idols, all these idols. Okay, all praises. They say they can hear you, right? All right. Also, like, share, and subscribe, man. Like, share, and subscribe, right? So let me get Wisdom of Solomon 13 and 10 in the GNT. Yeah, that's right, Tribe of Issachar. That rock is about to be turned into a pile of rubble, right? But yeah, all these idolatry, like, cause usually, especially me, I be getting on the Christians, the small hats. I get on pretty much anybody, but today, man, we on these Muslims because I have an art with Muslims. I don't like them neither. Wisdom of Solomon 13 and 10 in the GNT. Right? So we get on all types of idolatry, man. Especially this little cobblestone, man. We don't like that neither, right? And the Bible gets on that stuff, man. Y'all gotta understand. All these things are in the Bible. The Most High is not dealing with, right? You got it?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
This is the book of Jeremiah?
No, the Wisdom of Solomon.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter. Because it ain't showing on my screen. That's why I can't really see it.
Oh, it's all good. 13 and 10.
13 and 10, GNT. But the most miserable people of all of those who rest their hopes of lifeless things, who worship things that have been made by human hands.
That been what?
Made by human hands.
And this cobblestone, this ain't made by God. What they I forget what they say, it dropped out the sky or something like that. They say this dropped out the sky.
Yeah, it was supposed to be like a little piece of space rock. And it fell out the sky and they put it like in the far deep corner inside that big old thing they got.
Yeah.
separating like the Holy of Holies kind of.
Yeah. So,
Copying.
but no, ultimately, this is something made by a goddamn human, right? This is nothing God made, right? Go ahead.
Made by human hands. Images of animals artistically made from gold and silver. Or some useless stone carved by someone years ago.
And it said, or some what?
Useless stone carved by someone years ago.
And this is what the copperstone is. It's some useless stone that somebody carved years ago. It's a useless stone. That's why it's wisdom. We understand from wisdom that this right here is a useless stone, right? Also, let me get Habakkuk 2 and 18 and 19 in the GNT, right? So that copperstone, right? Like I said, it's a useless stone carved by somebody years ago, right? What y'all talking about, chat?
3 and 2.
Habakkuk 2 and 18 and 19 in GNT. All right. Yeah, that's right. Nephtha Kingdom said it's a useless man-made stone, right? C3 official said that black box was never holy. It always housed idols up until this day. And that's right, it's a goddamn idol. Somebody, Fapo, Muslims be real smelly too. Hey, smell like camels, right? And I'm gonna get to the law, right? I'm gonna get to the law, Issachar, right? Go ahead, you got it.
Book of Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 18 in the GNT. What's the use of an idol? It is only something that a human being has made.
And that's what it is. It's an idol that a human being has made, right? Go ahead.
And it tells you nothing but lies. What good does it do for its maker to trust in? A God that can't even talk.
It's a what?
A God that can't even talk.
So when I look at that cobblestone, it's a God that he can't even talk, right? Go ahead.
You are doomed.
And that's what I be looking at you Muslims or people who are part of the Islamic faith. You're ultimately doomed, right? Go ahead.
You say to a piece of wood, wake up. Or to a block of stone, get up.
And that's what they do. They tell to that wood, get up, and they tell to the block of stone, get up, right? What is the block of stone? That cobblestone. Get up, right? Go ahead.
Can an idol reveal anything to you? It may be covered with silver and gold, but there is no life in it.
And that's right. There's no life in it, right? It's no life dealing with what? The cobblestone or dealing with the Islamic faith, right? Also, so I seen the tribe of Issachar putting in that law in there, and that's what we got to get to, right? Because what? We are the Hebrew Israelites. We believe we have to keep God's law, statutes, and commandments. So let's get the law, right? Give me Deuteronomy 16 and 32. Not 32, 16 and 22, Salakia.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 16, verse 22. Neither shall thou set thee up in any image which the Lord thy God hateth.
Hey, get it in the CEV, right? Get it in the CEV, right? What do you say, brother? The Saint said, brothers go over there for a jihad, and Ishmael put your black ass in captivity. That's right, right? And that's also one thing I'm gonna get into, because black people gotta understand about this the Trans-Saharan slave trade, right? They had a slave trade also, but I'm gonna get into it later. Because they'll put you in slavery just like the white man will put you in slavery, man. Y'all gotta understand, nobody likes black, Hispanic, Native, and Seminole Indians, man. Nobody likes none of y'all. Only people who like us is us, so we have to turn to ourselves, right? That's why when you get to Zephaniah 2 and 1, Psalms 33 and 1, it's talking about we need to come together as a nation, because all these other nations don't love y'all. Yeah, the sub-Saharan slave trade, right? And I'm gonna get into it later, right? Go ahead.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 16, verse 22 in the CEV. And don't set up a sacred stone.
It said what?
Don't set up a sacred stone.
What is a sacred stone? That cobblestone. It says don't set up a sacred stone, right? Go ahead.
The Lord hates these things.
And that's what we're trying to tell you. God hate these things. God hate that goddamn cobblestone. God ain't dealing with it, right? Let's get Leviticus 26 and 1. It says, don't set up a sacred stone. The Lord hate these things. Most High ain't dealing with this stuff, right? You got it.
Book of Leviticus, chapter 26 from the top. Ye shall make you no idols, nor graven image. Neither rear up you a standing image, neither shall you set up any image of stone in your land.
It says what?
Neither shall you set up any image of stone in your land.
So the Lord said, do not set up an image of a stone in our land. What is that? The cobblestone, right? Go ahead.
To bow down to it.
To do what?
Bow down to it. For I am the Lord your God.
So all these people who bowing down to the cobblestone and walking around, they're breaking God's law, right?
Deliberately.
Literally, right? That's why we have to go into God's law, because you got to understand these people are breaking God's law. And that's such a cold fact. Read it again, bro.
from the top, Leviticus chapter 26. Yet ye shall make no idols nor graven image, neither rear up a standing image, neither shall you set up any image of stone in your land to bow down unto it.
To do what?
Bow down unto it.
That's right. That's that jihad. Don't bow down to it, right? Go ahead.
For I am the Lord your God.
Because Yahweh is our God, right? Not no goddamn Allah. Yahweh is our God, right? Also, give me Acts 17 and 29, right? In the GNT. Because Yahweh is our God. The law says we don't do no madness like that. We don't get no goddamn about no stone, right? Only thing we care about is God's law, statutes, and commandments, right? Because anybody know anything about like history, right? When you're dealing with the Jewish Roman wars, right? When Titus Vespasian went into our temple, he was confused because we didn't have no God in there, right? He didn't know what to do. He went into a temple and he seen it was empty and he was flabbergasted because there was no God in there. Why? Because our God is not wood and stone. Our God is not made of hands of men. He's everything, right? He's the existence. He's a spirit, right?
But the book of Acts, chapter 17, verse 29 in the GNT.
Right, go ahead.
Since we are God's children, we should not suppose that its nature is anything like an image of gold or silver or stone.
Or what?
Or stone.
Right. So since we understand this is our God, we understand he's not gold, silver, or goddamn stone, right? Go ahead.
Shaped by human art and skill.
And that's right, because our God is not shaped by human art and skills. And we're the most artful people in the world, right? So we'll make, if we literally get a paintbrush or anything, we can make God look beautiful out of the hands of man. But our God ain't dealing with, right? Ain't dealing with that, right? So let's get into, like I said, we got a video. We got the backdrop of this brother, right? Let me stop sharing this. And it's this brother right here, right? Let me share my screen. And we're going to use him as a backdrop because he wants to tell us to be Muslims. And I want to tell him he's out of his goddamn mind. Right? So let's get into it. All right. And like I say, the brother name is Rashad Abdul, right? And it's a brother out here in Atlanta, man. So if you see me, man, reach out, brother. We can have a conversation. But right now, I just want to say, nah, we ain't dealing with no Muslims, right?
What is your opinion as a Muslim on black people saying that we are the true Hebrews?
To be fair, you know, there are a lot of Hebrew Israelite movements in the black community now. I can't remember all of their names. I know the one movement, one of my neighbors growing up in Chicago,
fair use, right? It seemed like it coming in kind of low right here, though. Fair use, right?
Was a member of the Hebrew or the Israelite community. I don't know the exact language, but they're the ones that started Soul Vegetarian, their restaurant. We had it in Chicago. I know we have it here in Atlanta. I don't know if they're anywhere else, but I know those two locations. Good food. But that's one movement. And there's another movement now that's very popular. You know, the Brothers Wear Purple. And it seems to me that they're very influential.
Can y'all hear the video in the chat? Put a one in there. Y'all can hear the video in the chat because it's coming in real low over here. Yeah, they said they can hear it. A little. Barely. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Hold on, give me a second. One, but it's low, kind of low. All right, give me a second. Let me see if I can fix it. Also, like, share, and subscribe. Because I was wondering why I can't hear it. Usually
it'd be loud to us.
It'd be loud to us. All right, let me see if I can fix it, right? Also, like, share, and subscribe. I don't know why it's just coming in a little like this. We got
download it and play it. That's what we're doing on Beacon channel the other day. You saw the video.
Oh, the same thing.
Yeah, something going on where he just couldn't download it and played it straight from the download. First, they couldn't hear it.
All right, hold on, people. Let me download it, right?
They put it in the algorithm thing.
I'm downloading their videos. I got to figure it out.
You share it, it'll probably say download.
Oh, yeah.
Download it. Instead of sharing it.
Hold on, chat. Give me. Yeah, please be patient. Let me figure this out, man. I'm trying to download. You see it?
You did this one already?
Yeah.
And it went in there?
Nah. Hold on, I'm gonna figure something out, chat. Also, like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe. We're gonna figure it out. It says the difference between Black Muslims and Hebrew Israelites. Man, I might have to actually sign into my YouTube account. Signing your account. That's why I'm signing in, man. Hold on, give me a second.
Are you on some guests? Okay.
Yeah, I'm on guest.
Why?
Always been on guest.
I'm already downloading it, so you just share. But no, then again, because you know, I don't know when you're stopping. So.
No, we just gonna. I just tell you to stop. If you download it, I just tell you to stop. Hold on, we finna get it right. We finna get it right, man. Give us a second. Also, if you got any questions, put your question in the chat, man. If y'all got any questions, I'll take questions while we figure this out right quick. Anybody got any questions? FN Blue said we can hear him. He's just a Muslim. Let it play. Nah, man, I feel you though. I feel you can. I feel you can. It's just like, but I want people to understand what he's saying. Like we ain't just making up nothing. know, man.
I get downloaded, and it will tell me where it put it, so now I can't find it.
Gotta go to your download.
How you get there?
Somebody put, what's the difference between a concubine and a wife? A concubine is a lower wife. It's still a wife. It's just a lower level.
The only part we gonna have is that, remember, I got mine on mute, so with the sound, even if I'm on mute, you better hear it regardless. I'm gonna unmute over there, so it's doing that echo stuff for us.
Yeah.
So even if I do get it in, we're doing extra back and forth, pause and mute and unmute.
Hold on. Somebody put, what happened to the tribe of Dan? It got decimated so much that it's not men at the end, but Dan is still here. All right, cool. I got it. All right, chat. I fixed it. We good now. I fixed it. I had to actually log into my thing. I had to actually log into my YouTube, man. All right, cool. Let's go ahead.
What is your opinion as a Muslim on Black people saying that we are the true Hebrews?
To be fair, you know, there are a lot of Hebrew Israelite movements.
Hey, put a one in the chat if you can hear it now. Can y'all hear? Put one in the chat if y'all can hear it now. All right, cool. They can hear it.
Movements in the Black community now. I can't remember all of their names. I know the one movement, one of my
I'm gonna start it from the top.
What is your opinion as a Muslim on Black people saying that we are the true Hebrews?
To be fair, you know, there are a lot of Hebrew Israelite movements in the Black community now. I can't remember all of their names. I know the one movement, one of my neighbors growing up in Chicago, he was a member of the Hebrew or the Israelite community. I don't know the exact language, but they're the ones that started Soul Vegetarian, their restaurant. We had in Chicago. I know we have it here in Atlanta. I don't know if they're anywhere else, but I know those two locations. Good food. But that's one movement. And there's another movement now that's very popular. You know, the brothers wear purple.
Shout out to IUIC, man. Shout out to them brothers for putting in the work, right?
And it seems to me that they're very influenced by the Nation of Islam, whether they would admit it or not, because they do a lot of marching in the street.
Yeah, right there. It shows you he don't know what he's talking about. What he said? What did it? Because IUIC march out there, he's saying that is influenced by the Nation of Islam. No, I think it's influenced by the Civil Rights Movement.
I was going to say, so Martin Luther King was influenced by the Nation of
That's
Islam.
what I'm saying. Like, y'all gotta understand, like, the brother Nathaniel, he's like, his generation ain't that far removed from the Civil Rights
He
Movement.
is of that generation.
He is.
Yeah, he's older. He's there.
He was probably a child. Like, his parents are probably the one who was participating in the Civil Rights Movement. So I think he get it from that. He doesn't get it from the Nation of Islam. Right? That's just utter madness, man. Would you have something?
No, I was trying to see how old he is.
And the way they talk about whites, and the way they talk about themselves, it just has the Nation of Islam written all over. They just don't wear suits. They wear those purple outfits or shirts, at least, with the tassels at the bottom from scripture. They're following scripture, and the women wear beautiful purple. So to be fair, I think that we have to look at it as a Muslim. We have to look at it from several angles. First, from the time we came here as slaves, meaning we, African-American people, we know we were stripped of, if we were Muslim, we were stripped of that. If we were traditional African worship, we were stripped of that. There were even some Christians.
And you know what's so crazy? I don't even deny none of that. I think we were Israelites who did practice all these stuff. That's why what? I asked went into slavery. That's why God put us on a boat, bro. So I don't even deny all that, right?
Christians, very few, but they were also stripped of that. So we were given a particular kind of Christianity, the Christianity of the inhabitants of
Plantation
America.
Christianity. That's what type of Christianity black people got. You got plantation Christianity, meaning you learn this form of Christianity on a goddamn plantation with a white man beating your back out with a whip, saying worship white Jesus. That's the Christianity that black people serving right now.
And when our people began to read the Bible, and when they begin to hear sermons about the exodus of Moses, the suffering of the children of Israel in Egypt, the suffering even under the Romans, and the coming of Jesus Christ as the one to liberate or redeem the lost sheep, we can look 100, 200 years ago and find in the writings of, or in the speeches of African-American leaders, they saw a parallel between our life and the life of those Hebrew people.
But why? Why did they see the parallel? You understand why? Because we are the people. We're the same people. That's why we see the parallel, right? The reason why we can look right now here in America and look back in history of what Moses and the people were doing and see the exact same thing happening to us right now, right? Let's get Genesis 15 and 13, right? This is one of the main parallels. Even though this is describing ancient Egypt, we take a look at this scripture and say, damn, this sounds just like us, right? You got it.
Book of Genesis, chapter 15, verse 13. And he said unto Abram, know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years.
So they'll look at that scripture and say, damn, man, that sounds like a lot like us, right? Being a stranger in someone's land for 400 years, being afflicted in a servile position. Wonder who that sounds like. Sounds like us. Even though this is talking about ancient Egypt and the Israelites dealing with ancient Egypt, we can see the parallels. Why? Let's get on Deuteronomy 28 and 45. Why do we see these parallels? It's because the Bible say we will see these parallels. Right.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 45. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, overtake thee, till thou be destroyed, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to keep his commandments and his statutes which he commanded thee.
Keep going.
And they shall be upon thee for a sign.
So all these curses shall be upon thy seed for a sign, right? Go ahead.
And for a wonder. And upon thy seed forever.
So it's a laundry list of curses that will be upon the children of Israel to let you know this is the children of Israel. That's where you get the parallel from. It's like, damn, man, this sounds familiar, right? You know what sounds familiar? Planned Parenthood, right? Well, don't you know that happened in ancient Egypt? Let's get Exodus 1 and 15. We're going to go into ancient Egypt and see all the things that they went through in ancient Egypt that we go through right now. Not just the 400 years of slavery or servile position, but actual things that they did to them, right? Go ahead.
Book of Exodus, chapter 1, verse 15. And the king of Egypt spake to the Hebrew midwives, of which the name of the one was Pharaoh, and the name of the other Purah. And he said, when ye do the office of a midwife to the Hebrew women, and see them upon the stools, if it be a son, then ye shall kill him. But if it be a daughter, then she shall live.
What is that? That is a form of Planned Parenthood, right? Kill all the firstborn males, right? Now today, what they do, they kill all of y'all, right? Not only just the males, but also the daughters. It doesn't matter. Just get rid of the Israelite baby. We don't give a goddamn if it's a boy or a girl. But we see these things in ancient Egypt. Also with hardcore slavery, right? Look at Exodus 2 and 23. We're going to see the parallels because we, as a group of people, went through these things. And we still go through these things as prescribed of the Bible, right? Go ahead.
Book of Exodus, chapter 2, verse 23. And it came to pass in process of time that the king of Egypt died, and the children of Israel sighed by reason of the bondage. And they cried, and their cry came up unto God by reason of the bondage.
That's the same thing that them slaves did, right? They was out there in them sugar cane fields, out there in the cotton fields, talking about some swing low, sweet chariot coming to take me home. What is that? Singing or crying to God for the reason of their bondage. It's the exact same thing, right? Go ahead.
Verse 4. And God heard their groaning, and God remembered his covenant with Abraham, with Isaac, and with Jacob. And God looked upon the children of Israel, and God had respect unto them.
And that's what we're hoping for now. With God to look on us and have respect and seeing us a savior, right? And also one more thing. Still in Exodus 2, jump up to 11. What do we suffer in America? Police brutality. That's what they were suffering back in ancient Egypt. Police brutality. It's the same thing, right? Go ahead.
Pharaoh brutality?
Huh?
Pharaoh brutality.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wonder what they police go back there.
I don't know what they call, but we're going
to Exodus 2, chapter 2, verse 11. And it came to pass in those days when Moses was grown that he went out unto his brethren and looked on their burdens, and he spied an Egyptian smiting the Hebrews.
We seen the Egyptians fighting the Hebrew. That would be what we would call what? Police brutality, right?
Hey, Rodney King.
He was out there getting Rodney King, right? Beating the hell out of him, right? Go ahead.
One of his brethren. And he looked this way and that way, and when he saw that there was no man, he slew the Egyptian.
He pulled the what? A Tupac. With Tupac seeing two police over there beating up on the man, he came out and
I didn't know they were police.
I didn't know they were police, right? But we see these same things, right? Why? Why? Because this is ancient Egypt. This is why they equate it to ancient Egypt. Because Babylon said the Bible said Babylon will be what? The new ancient Egypt. The Bible said we will go back to Egypt, right? Let's get Deuteronomy 28 and 68. So the reason why we see the parallels is because the Bible says this ancient Babylon, modern day ancient Babylon will be just like what? Ancient Egypt, right? Go ahead.
Book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
It said the what?
The Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
Meaning we're going to suffer a same thing like ancient Egypt. The Lord is going to put you in Egypt again with ships. What? A slave ship, right? Go ahead.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again.
The thou shalt see it no more again. It's talking about ancient Egypt. You're not going to see ancient Egypt no more again, right? Go ahead.
And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies, for bondmen and bondwomen.
All right. What it's talking about, you're going to a new Egypt to be sold as for a slave man and a slave woman. The same thing that we've been through, right? Go ahead.
And no man shall buy you.
And nobody's going to redeem us. Nobody's going to help us out. Marcus Garvey can't help us out. Martin Luther King can't help us out. Malcolm X can't help us out. Hell, Tupac Shakur can't help us out, right? Nobody can help you out. The only one that's going to help you out is who Yahweh sent his only begotten son, right? Let's get on Revelations 11 and 8, because it says this is just like ancient Egypt. This is why they have the parallels. This is why you see the preachers on sermons about old Moses. All right, go ahead.
Book of Revelation, chapter 11, verse 8. and their dead bodies shall lie in the streets of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt.
Which is spiritually called Sodom and Egypt, right? Sodom known for its homosexuality. Egypt is known for what they hardcore bondage, right? Go ahead.
Where also our Lord was crucified.
Because we are the body of Christ. So this is why we go back in these Bibles and we equate it to our ourselves, right? So he don't get it, but he too busy. Like, you got some black people who like to be up the white man's ass. He like to be up the Arab ass, right? He don't even want to go into his own stuff, right?
And really, when you trace it from, again, you're talking about men like Denmark Vesey, Nat Turner, Frederick Douglass, all the way to Dr. King, all the way to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. It's literally all throughout our history. Imam W.D. Muhammad. That sort of theme, or that view that our life parallels that of the Hebrew people in the Bible, that remains a constant theme in Black religious thought, whether Christian, Muslim, or otherwise. That just stays there. You can literally find it amongst, and I think that's interesting. It's like God had it so our history would unfold in such a way that we would see that parallel.
He wondered why God is letting this happen, right? Oh my God, why God will let our history happen like that so we can see the parallel? You know what? Let me just get Daniel 9 and 11. This is why we have to go back to the Bible. This is why we have to leave all these other religions, all what they believe, what's going on with us, the hell alone, and figure it out for ourselves, right? But
Book of Daniel, chapter 9, verse 11. Yeah, all Israel have transgressed thy law, even by departing, that they might not obey thy voice. Therefore, the curse is poured upon us.
Therefore, the curse is poured upon us. Right, go ahead.
And the oath that is written in the law of Moses, the servant of God, because we have sinned against him.
Keep going.
And he have confirmed his words.
He confirmed his words. What is that? That curse, right? Go ahead.
Which he spake against us and against our judges that judged us, by bringing upon us a great evil.
So a great evil came upon the children of Israel, right? Go ahead.
For under the whole heaven hath been done upon Jerusalem.
So it's a great evil that historically has never happened to anybody else. Who are these group of people that historically something so horrible happened, horrific, that nobody can ever compare to it? It's us. It ain't the small hats, it's us, Black, Latino, and Native and Seminole Indians. We're the ones who got punished under the whole heaven, unlike any other nation, right?
And this evil they're talking about is all the curses that they said was going to happen to us in the book of Deuteronomy.
Right. Yeah,
that's the evil.
That's the evil. Like being put on a slave ship. That's the evil we're talking about, right? Keep going.
Verse 13. As it is written in the law of Moses, all this evil is come upon us. Yet may we not our prayer before the Lord of God, that we might turn from our iniquities.
And even to this day, all this evil has come upon us and we still won't repent. That's what it's saying. We still, even to this day, we go out there and we try to get our people to repent. They still don't repent, right? Go ahead.
That we might turn from our iniquities and understand thy truth. Therefore hath the Lord watched upon the evil.
That's why God sat there and watched this happen, right? Go ahead.
And brought it upon us. For the Lord our God is righteous in all his works which he doeth.
Why? Because we took an oath that we would do these things. So God punishing us for not doing these things, he is actually righteous and we're wrong, right? Go ahead.
For we obeyed not his voice.
Because we didn't obey his voice, right? And this is the same thing Christ said about the Israelites, right? Let's get Luke 23 and 27, right? Christ said this about the Israelites. Because the understanding that we got, it's a judgment that happened to the Jews, the biblical Israelite that is unlike any other people on earth, right? Who is the people are, right? Go ahead.
Book of Luke, chapter 23, verse 27. And there followed him a great company of people and of women, which also bewailed and lamented him.
Right. So this is Christ being crucified, right? Go ahead.
But Jesus turned unto them and said, daughters of Jerusalem.
So this is what he told them, daughters of Jerusalem, or them the Jews, right? Women, right? Go ahead.
Weep not for me.
He's being crucified and he said, don't even cry for me, right? Go ahead.
But weep for yourselves.
He said, cry for yourselves, right? Go ahead.
And for your children.
So the Savior is being crucified horrifically. And he's saying, don't even cry for me. Cry for yourself and your children. Meaning we are going to go through a horrific event that is going to be like anything else.
worse than what he went through in his own mind.
Exactly.
Like, God, don't worry about me, brother. I'm good.
He's being crucified. He's like, man, what's going to happen to y'all? Don't even worry about what's going on with me. That's how bad it's going to get for you, right? Go ahead.
For behold, the days are coming in which they shall say, blessed are the barren, and the wombs that never bear, and the paps which never gave suck.
It's going to be so horrific that you're going to be wishing you didn't even have kids at that time, right? Go ahead.
Then shall they begin to say, the mountains fall on us, and to the hills cover us. For if they do these things in a green tree.
So you're going to be looking for protection. But if they do this to him, right? Go ahead.
For if they do these things in a green tree, what shall be done in the city, in the dry?
Right. So if these things happen to me, what the hell is going to happen to y'all? Right. And then he already warned us, right? Go to 21 and 20.
This is the book of Luke, chapter 21, verse 20. And when he shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh.
Where are you going?
Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains.
What is he talking about? He's talking about, so when you see Jerusalem 70 AD, when you see them compassed of armies, right? And you see Titus Vespasian is about to destroy this place, right? You go flee, right? Go ahead.
And let them which are in the midst of it depart out. And let them and let not them that are in the countries enter therein too.
Right. So what is he talking about? He's showing us, he's telling us when 70 AD come, run to Africa, right? But this is going to go into what I'm talking about, this the sub-Saharan trans-slave trade, right? The slave trade of the Arabs. This is when we get joined in that. All right, go ahead.
Verse 22. For these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. But woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days, for there shall be great distress in the land, and wrath upon this people.
Right. And that's wrath upon these people, right?
Basically, just restating the same thing you said in the last one. Woe to them that got the bare moons. You go wish you'd even get stuck in that day.
Yeah, you gonna wish you didn't get no kids in that day.
It's hard to get away from men chasing you with knives. You trying to drag a 3-year-old and an infant. You know?
No, it's absolutely right. Right. So we're gonna go ahead.
And we knew that if Allah, we said God back then, Allah in Islamic language, if
it's Yahweh,
Allah delivered those people.
Yeah, like he is there, right?
We say Allah. We say Allah.
And
he would also deliver us. So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, even Farrakhan, they're on record, like they're actually on tape. People don't listen to tapes anymore, but they're on record. That's a better way to put it. Saying we are the Hebrew people.
That's something though. Louis Farrakhan is on record saying black people are the Jews. So why the hell are we following the Arab religion? It makes no sense.
I'm saying this to say we have to have context. This is not something that's new to these quote unquote Hebrew Israelite movement. This is something that has been universally recognized in black religious leadership. Recognized meaning that at least there's a strong parallel there. When we read the Quran, Allah, he says in the Quran, I'm coming from Quran now, like as a Muslim, because what I just mentioned is really biblically influenced. But even in the Quran, Allah acknowledges the history of oppression that the children of Israel faced. And Allah, he says, Yasumukum su'ul adhab. They were subjected to the evil, the evil and the harm, and the harm is not even a good word, but the wickedness of the punishment meted out to them by Pharaoh. يُذَبِّحُونَ أَبْنَاءَكُمْ وَيَسْتَحْيُونَ نِسَاءَكُمْ. They slaughtered your sons and they let your women live. Now we know that this is mentioned in the Old Testament when the Hebrew boys were being born, and the Pharaoh commanded the midwives to kill the boys. And then in the New Testament, when King Herod was looking for the would-be Messiah, he was expected to be born. This is the time of Jesus Christ. So he gave the same command. And until it says,
but ain't that crazy though? Ancient Egypt, they tried to kill the firstborn males, right? Then you get Herod trying to kill the males, right? And then you get to America, it's this dude named J. Edgar Hoover, right? What he was trying to do, prevent a black messiah rising. And this is when you get what? Planned Parenthood. They're always aimed at killing the black male of the Israelites. Like, that's what I try to tell people. The most influential group in this world is the Judite, the African American who is in high school and college. That's the most influential male on this earth. And they feel they can control them. If they can't control them, kill them.
Just like the lady said in Israel not too long ago, that conviction. The biggest threat to Israel right now is the teenagers and the black males in America.
Yeah, because they're the most influential.
And they ain't even thinking about it.
Yeah.
That's the crazy part.
They're not thinking about them, but they got the most influence in the world. Everything is that little group, right? From music, from art to everything, it comes from that demographic of group. Because you are the true Jew.
That's why they keep y'all blinded and confused with music and games and all the stuff that's not important. So you can grow up and be men that's not interested in politics and changing the world. It's different things of nature. But you so caught up in trying to be the best at Fortnite.
You so caught up on dumb stuff that you're not realizing how great you can actually be.
Yeah, they dumb you down.
Yeah.
That Mary was commanded along with Joseph, take your child and flee to Egypt. Now, this is confirmed in the Quran. Now, when we look at the life of the African-American male, just using that one verse. So not only were we made slaves here in
Salakia, the water Tanya, man, continued support. Sis, I appreciate it. All right. Go ahead.
America, and put under intense forms of oppression. We also see that the men were killed.
Oh, hold on for a second. Salakia, we finna go ahead.
The sons were killed. Now, the question becomes, what is a son? A son is a man, is not just a man, it's a young man. It's a when you kill a male child or a boy child, this is a male that doesn't even develop into manhood yet. That's important. Because Allah also says in the Quran, "Ar-rijalu qawwamuna 'ala an-nisa." The men translated are the maintainers and protectors of women. In other words, men, full-grown men, are entrusted by God with responsibility over their women, and by implication, children as well. And God says the clothing and the providing of women, that's the responsibility that men shoulder. So, from a scriptural perspective, I think this is both Bible and Quran. Men are seen as producers. Men are seen as workers, the industrious muscle that protects and leads, provides, etc. And I think that's kind of how they see men in public. I think when women say they're no good men, that's what they're talking about. You know, they can't find a brother with a good job who's manly, you know, can fix a car and all of that stuff. So this is kind of what's accepted of men. And from that general body of men come leaders of the community. So to kill the boys, what it's really saying is to kill those males before they even realize their full potential as men. You kill the manhood potential in those men or in those males. So,
but I agree with what he's saying. You're doing all this to kill the potential in the young black male.
But they never grow up to be men. But you let the women live. So what that means is that your women and your children, and by extension, your community, is left open to be exploited by those who killed the men off in the first place. I do believe that just looking at it from that angle, there's a clear parallel between the African American condition and the condition of these people that we find in scripture. So during the time of slavery, The history
That's crazy. So he agreed with the parallel though,
Mhm.
but he still ain't making the connection.
shows how our men were physically killed. During Reconstruction, our men were physically killed. So many hundreds of lynchings per year coming out of not during antebellum, but during the Reconstruction years. And then up and through the Jim Crow, but not only in the South, in the North as well, a lot of our men were denied opportunity. So not only do we have instances like Tulsa, Oklahoma, and things like that in our history where we were physically killed, not only do we have the story of a lot of black men just being physically terrorized and slaughtered, like Malcolm X's father, for example. So that manhood, he was a leader, that manhood leadership spirit, anytime they saw it on the plantation and after the plantation life, they destroyed it. My grandfather told me, he said, when I was looking to be an electrician, he wanted to be an electrician. He said that they had two areas back then. It was a regular electrician who worked on homes and commercial buildings, or you could be a TV repairman. And the way the setup was, now this is in the North, in Chicago, they didn't allow black men to become electricians working on homes and commercial properties. They could only be TV repairmen. So we see also that the manhood potential was killed beyond just the physical level. Because if a man is not able to get certain type of work, get into certain type of industry, and exercise certain type of intellectual muscles, then he won't be able to make as much money. He won't be financially competitive to those men who are not having those types of restrictions and limits on them. So that's one thing. Now, when we look at black culture, so that's what I just mentioned is after Jim Crow. That's even up until civil rights era, on into the 70s, 60s and 70s, the late 60s and 70s, 80s, 90s. What has been the main killer of the black man? It's really been the culture. Other black men, but at the hands of or inspired by the culture.
Well, and it's true. The number one thing that's killing black people is the culture, because we have no culture. We have no culture. Our culture is this: the Bible. The Bible is our actual culture. It's the set of rules or the standards that we should live by and govern ourselves by. But now our culture is rock music. So the set standard that we're governed by is some, basically, how can I formulate it? It's some shit that high school kids made up.
A bunch of drug addicts, gangbanger killers that don't respect themselves and nothing else, nothing. And they make a song about how they don't respect it and you follow it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, when you think about the actual culture, like Bloods, Crips, all this has started with young men, like that demographic I was talking about, right?
Good reason. But then it just corrupted in the end.
It corrupted in the end, right?
God involved. And they let the white men influence them.
Why? Because we didn't let God be the leader of it, right? So this is when it becomes corrupted, because black people have no culture. And it's because the young black male, if he's not in his right mind, then everything around us will fall. If we're not in our right mind, then our women will not be in the right mind, right?
Which in turn raises our children and not in the right mind.
Exactly. And it's now we got this whole death cycle going on, right? All right. Just a couple scriptures. Let me get Isaiah 51:20, right? But all this comes back to we don't have no faith, no religion. We ain't got nothing that we're standing by. Everybody's doing their own thing. Everybody got their own God. Everybody, I'm just doing me. We ain't moving as a society. We're not moving how we supposed to, right? You got it.
Isaiah chapter 51 verse 20. Thy sons have fainted. They lie at the head of all the streets.
They all on the block. Everybody on the corners, right? They're fainted. They all on the streets, right? Go ahead.
As a wild bull in a net.
And that's what we are. We're like a wild bull caught in a net, right? Go ahead.
They are full of the fury of the Lord.
That's right. We're being rebuked of God. We're the young man that's on the block who caught in these traps or in these nets are full of God's judgment, right? Go ahead.
The rebuke of thy God.
In the rebuke of thy God. Let's get Amos 7:17.
Book of Amos chapter 7 verse 17. Therefore thus saith the Lord, thy wife shall be a harlot in the city.
And this is what God said. He said, your wife is going to be a harlot in the city, right? A whore, right? Go ahead.
And thy sons and thy daughters shall fall by the sword.
And then your children are going to die from gun violence, right? Go ahead.
And thy land shall be divided by line.
And now you're not even in your land. Other people got your land, right? Go ahead.
and thou shalt die in a polluted land.
And you're going to die in a polluted land like America, right? Go ahead.
And Israel shall surely go into captivity.
And you're definitely going into slavery, right? Go ahead.
Forth of his land.
You know, once you get out of this land, right? So we're going to let brother finish up.
In primarily hip hop culture. If we're celebrating 50 years of hip hop, the great majority of that is death, the celebration of death. So I'm saying that just to say this statement of slaughtering the sons and letting the women live is far reaching. It's physical, it's social, it's psychological, because the average black male today is dead psychologically before he's ever killed on the street. He's on the street because he's already dead psychologically. So I'm agreeing with this premise that I'm not saying we are the Hebrews. I'm saying that our life parallels it. Why am I making that distinction? Because in the Quran, in Islam, we are really pulled away from this thing that has really been inspired by the Judeo-Christian world. The Jews made themselves an ethnic group with specific rights and with a specific role in the world and a set of rights before God. They made themselves an exclusive people. And then the white world comes along, and we know the history of colonialism and white supremacy. They made themselves the European and the white man's burden. So this nationalism, this ethnic thing, has really affected us. And I think a lot of African Americans, coming from our experience, we've been struggling to find an identity that we're comfortable with. And that's a natural thing. So I don't criticize those brothers. I don't care if they're Rastafarian. I don't care if they're Hebrew Israelite, they're Nation of Islam. I don't criticize them from the viewpoint of our psychology as black people who have been put down. We were told that our black skin was ugly. Our nappy hair is a deformity, our thick lips, etc. We were raised like that. So much so that in our parents, even when I was a kid, to call someone black was a put down. In the worst jokes you can tell in the black community, in the hood or in the ghetto, is "you so black, such and such." That's like a real thing for us. You don't hear Asians "you so yellow" or whites, "you so white." It's a thing with us though, "you so black," and that's you get into a fight. So we have been conditioned to hate ourselves, to not love ourselves. So a lot of these brothers and sisters who are struggling out of that psychological burden, they accept these different teachings. So I can't knock them. I would invite all of our people to check out Islam, because I read the Bible. I'm a student of the Bible. I'm a student of the Quran. And I was a student. I still am, but I delved deeply into Afrocentric literature. And nothing is superior to the Quran and the tradition of the Prophet. I think that the best insights that we find in those other source of knowledge, the best insights in them are found in the Quran and much more. The Quran opens up to us the universe. The Quran situates us to be persons who can shoulder civilization, full community responsibility in economics, in politics, in education, spirituality, everything. I find all of those other traditions. The Bible is probably the second runner-up, obviously, because it's still influenced by revelation. But Afrocentrism and all that stuff is too weak, much too weak. Though I agree with a lot of their thinkers. Dr. Amos Wilson was a genius in my mind. And in modern times, Dr. Umar, I think he does a lot of good. But I think as a complete system of life, Islam is much superior to those. So I salute those brothers for making a choice to come out of the mental enslavement that a lot of our people are under. But I would invite everyone to check out Islam and to see the beauty of Islam and to know true al-Islam as we know it.
All right. So the brother said, what? Take out the
What is your
Quran.
opinion as a Muslim on black people saying that we are the true Hebrews?
To be fair,
that man said, check out the Quran, right? And the Quran is better than the Bible and all this and this and that, right? I think he's out his goddamn mind. But you know what we're going to do? We're going to check out the Quran. That's what he wants us to do. He wants us to look at the Quran. Okay, let's go look at the Quran then, right? because he said this Quran is better than the Bible, right? So out of his mouth, we're supposed to look at the Quran and see if it's better than the Bible, right? That's what this man is saying. All right, cool, man. Let's go to Surah 2 and 47. We're going to look at the Quran now. Let's take a look at the Quran, because now we got to go in this Quran and see how great this Quran is, right? And see if it's, what is it talking about? Man, let me pull it off of Google, right? I'm gonna pull it off of Google so we can all see it together. Oh, you get into it? We're gonna get into this Quran now. Let's get into this Quran. All right. Let me share my screen, right? We're finna get into this Quran, right? It's called Surah 2 and 47, right? Let me share my screen. Let's get into this Quran. Let's get into this Quran, Israelites. Right? And I call for Surah 2 and 47. You got it?
Yeah, I got it.
All right, bring it out.
The book of Surah, chapter 2, verse 47.
Uh-huh.
In the Quran. Children of Israel.
It says what?
Children of Israel.
Go ahead.
Remember my blessing, which I have bestowed on you,
Uh-huh.
and how I favored you above all other people.
Oh man, the Quran said the children of Israel are favored above all other people, right? That's what it says, right? Read it again.
Children of Israel, remember my blessing,
We have to remember the blessing God gave us, right? Go ahead.
which I have bestowed on you,
Uh-huh.
and how I favored you above all other people.
You know, that sounds like a lot like Deuteronomy 7 and 6.
Sounds just
It sounds just like Deuteronomy 7 and 6, right? Lord, because he said he employed us to go in this Quran. So we're going to go in this Quran. Go to Surah 2, 1 and 122, right? So we're going to look this up, right? Right, go ahead.
the book of the Quran, Surah chapter 2, verse 122. Children of Israel, remember my favor,
Mm-hmm.
which I have bestowed upon you, and how I preferred you above all other people.
Same thing, right? He preferred us. Man, this Quran is starting to sound all right, man. He's letting us know the children of Israel is better than everybody else. It sounds a whole lot like the Bible, right? Let's get Surah 2 and 47, right? Oh, my Slaki, 40. Let's go 2 and 40.
In the Quran, Surah chapter 2, verse 40. Children of Israel, remember the favors.
Hold on, let me pull it up on this. Let me pull this up. Surah 2 and 40, right? So our people can read along with us, right? Oh man,
Put the Quran in the camera screen so they can see I'm actually
reading it, right? I'm trying to pull it up. Right. It's right here, right? Go ahead.
Out of the Quran, Surah chapter 2, verse 40. Children of Israel, remember the favors I have bestowed upon you, and fulfill the covenant.
It said, do what?
Fulfill the covenant.
So remember the stuff I bestowed on you and keep God's law, right? Go ahead.
And fulfill the covenant that you made with me.
Uh-huh.
I shall fulfill the covenant I made with you.
So by off of that, we should throw away the goddamn Quran, because the Bible told us, he told us to fulfill the covenant he gave with us. Well, where do we find this covenant? In the Bible, right? So us as the children of Israel, we should throw this Quran away and go back to the Bible, so we can fulfill the covenant that Yahweh has made with the children of Israel, right? But that's it.
And fear me alone.
And it said, what?
Fear me alone.
And that's what we're going to do. I'm going to fear Yahweh alone. I don't give a goddamn about Allah. Give me Yahweh.
My biggest question right now is, why would the Hebrew God be talking to the Hebrew people in Ishmael's book?
It makes no goddamn sense, bro.
He's talking directly to the children of Israel right here.
I know.
Uphold your covenant. I'm going to uphold my covenant. You just fear me alone.
Yeah, that's
why
why.
you said talking to them in your book, though.
That's why he told us to go to the Quran. I'm going to the Quran, man. This is what the Quran is saying, right?
So Yahweh was talking in your book, but y'all call him Allah.
He's telling the children of Israel to keep the commandments.
Okay.
It makes no sense, right? That was 40, right?
Yes.
We're gonna go to Surah 45:16, right? Let's pull it up. Surah 45:16. Y'all follow along, chat, man. I can't see y'all, man. But we're in this Quran, right? In this Quran,
45, 16.
yeah, it's 16. Right, go ahead.
The book of Surah, the book of the Quran, Surah chapter 45 and verse 16.
Uh-huh.
We gave scriptures, wisdom, and prophethood to the children of Israel.
He said, what?
He gave scriptures, wisdom, and prophethood to the children of Israel.
So to the children of Israel, they got wisdom, prophethood. All this go to the children of Israel, right? Go ahead.
And provide them with good things and favor them over all other people.
And what? Read that one again, right?
Verse 16.
That was 17?
No. I said, look at 17. The next line after that is crazy.
Oh, go ahead then.
You want me to read it?
Yeah.
Verse 17. We gave them clear arguments in matters of religion.
It said what?
We gave them clear arguments in matters of religion.
Oh man, that's crazy. So what the hell we need the Quran for? Right? Read it again.
Back in 16, chapter 45, verse 16. We gave scriptures, wisdom, and prophethood to the children of Israel, and provided them with good things and favored them over all other people.
He favored us over all other people, right? Go ahead.
We gave them clear arguments in matters of religion.
So if you want to have clear argument or you want to have a clear understanding, you go to the children of Israel because God gave them the scriptures and the prophethood, according to the Quran. Right? Go ahead.
It was only after knowledge came to them that they differed among themselves out of mutual rivalry.
We started hating on ourselves out of rivalry.
So that's crazy.
That's what I'm saying. He told us to get in this Quran, right?
Yeah.
We in the Quran, right? All right. We in this thing, right? Let's go. Let's get some more out of the Quran, man. Let's go to Surah 3 and 3 and 4, right? Surah chapter 3, verse 3 and 4, right?
Out of the Quran, this is chapter 3, Surah 3 and verse 4. In the past, as guidance for mankind, he has also sent down the standard by which to discern the true from the false. Surely those who deny God's sign will suffer severe punishment. You said 3 and 4, right?
Chapter 3. That's chapter 3?
Yeah, it's 3. Verse 4.
Oh, my fault. Read 3.
Oh, 3 and 3.
Yeah, 3 and 3. Slack it.
Quran, Surah chapter 3, verse 3. He has sent down the book to you with truth, which fulfills the predictions in the scriptures that preceded it. He sent down the Torah and the gospel.
And the what?
The gospel.
So that's also Jesus now, right? So the Torah and the gospel, right? Go ahead.
In the past as guidance for mankind.
And that's our guidance, right? Keep going.
He has also sent down the standard by which to discern the true from the false.
What is that standard? The Torah and the gospel. It just told you what the standard was. The Torah and the gospel is that standard that God sent down, right? Go ahead.
And surely those who deny God's signs will suffer severe punishment.
That's what's going to happen, right? That's all I need, right? Let's get Surah 5 and 44, right? Because they told me to go in the Quran. He said I'm supposed to go in the Quran and get enlightened. Listen to this nigga from Chicago and Atlanta.
It's crazy. If they actually reading this and then they hear what we say, they deny what we're saying, they're totally delusional. Because this is just confirming what we say.
That's my point. It's confirming everything we say, right? Go ahead.
Like, that's crazy. This is Surah chapter 5 and verse 44. Okay, here. We have revealed the Torah in which there is guidance and light. By it, the prophets who were obedient to us judged the Jews. And so did the rabbis and the priests, according to God's book, which had been entrusted to their care.
Entrusted in our care, right? So what, the Torah is for our guidance, and it was entrusted in our care. All right.
And to which they were witnesses.
All right.
We're the witnesses, and we're entrusted with the care of the.
Hey, I'm getting in this Torah. I'm in this Quran, right? The Quran told us to get in the Torah. The brother told me to look in the Quran. We're gonna find enlightenment. And I looked in it and I found enlightenment. And you know what it told me? He said, "Man, you're still God's chosen people, and you shouldn't give a goddamn about this Quran. You know what you need to do? You have to go back to your own God. You have to go back to that law, that statutes, the commandments. You have to go back to the Torah. You got to go back to the gospel." That's what the Quran is saying. He said, "Don't follow my goddamn BS of a religion for Islam that is created by the Arabs. No, black men, go back to your own God."
All of them.
They
got the truth. It was given to them.
Oh man, where we at now, man? Right, give me Surah 17, right? Surah 17 and 104, right? Somebody put, I guess that's taken out of context too. I guess so, man. I guess you Israelites love to go in these people's book and take everything out of context, man.
Just read it.
I'm just reading it, right? Go ahead.
Quran, Surah chapter 17, verse 104. Thereafter, he said to the Israelites, dwell in the land. When the promise of the hereafter comes to be fulfilled, we shall assemble you all together.
What is this talking about? God is going to gather you from everywhere.
When Christ come back and gather everybody together.
So it's literally saying God is going to gather all you Israelites out of everywhere, right? That's the end of it.
Yeah, 104.
Right. All right, listen. Go to Surah 3 and 84, right? So it's telling us as Israelites that you have to keep God's law, statutes, and commandments. Realize you have a covenant with God, and once you keep that covenant with God, God is going to gather you out of all lands. That's what the Quran is telling us. So it's saying, as an Israelite, if you're a real biblical Israelite, don't listen to us. Go back to your own work. Go back to your own Bible, right? Go ahead.
The book of Surah, the Quran, chapter 3, verse 84. Say, we believe in God and in what has been sent down to us and to Abraham, Ishmael, Isaac, Jacob, and the tribes.
You see that?
They threw his name. They threw that nigga name in there. It don't say that nowhere in the Bible. Yeah, they slick.
Yeah, keep going.
We believe in what has been given to Moses.
We believe what's been given to Moses.
Jesus. And the prophets from their Lord. From their Lord.
From their what?
From their Lord.
Go into it, right?
We make no distinctions between any of them. It is to him that we have surrendered ourselves.
Right? So we believe. Hey, that's crazy, right? Oh, man. They believe what was given to Moses, Jesus, or Yahushua, right? And to the prophets. That's their Lord, right? So they keep telling us they believe the Torah. How they do Ishmael in there?
Yeah, like Isaac and Ishmael ain't brothers. Like he didn't clearly say, I don't choose the son of the damn whore. I mean, of the slave woman. I choose the son of the.
Well, let's get it. Let's
get it. They don't actually say that in there, so like they just like we don't know the Bible.
Well, let's get it.
Crazy as hell.
Let's get it. Get Genesis 17 and 18, man. Is it straight?
That's not none of us. Book of Genesis, chapter 17, verse 18. And Abraham said unto God, oh, that Ishmael might live before thee. Verse 19. And God said, Sarah, thy wife shall bear thee a son indeed.
Oh, Salakia. Hey, we actually got more cuts, man. I actually slowed up. I got like a whole bunch of stuff on that Quran. So that was just a little bit. Somebody put, how did you find all these damn cuts? The man told us to look in the Quran. That's what he told us.
We're looking in
the Quran. That's what I found, right? Go ahead.
Verse 19. And God said, Sarah, thy wife shall bear thee a son indeed, and thou shalt call his name Isaac. And I will establish my covenant with him.
He will do what?
Establish my covenant with him.
Totally disregard Ishmael, but establish a covenant with Isaac, right? Go ahead.
with him for an everlasting covenant,
Mm-hmm.
and with his seed after him.
And with his seed, which would be Jacob, right? Go ahead.
And as for Ishmael,
As for Ishmael, right? Go
I
ahead.
have heard thee.
Uh-huh.
Behold, I have blessed him, and will make him fruitful, and will multiply him exceedingly.
Mm-hmm.
12 princes that he begat, and I will make him a great nation.
That's the blessing of Ishmael, right? Go ahead.
But
What?
whenever you use the word but,
Yeah.
everything you said before that gets negated, basically.
Yo, but go ahead.
My covenant will I establish with Isaac.
Yeah, and then we just read out of that Quran where he tried to slip in
Trying
Ishmael.
to slide that right in here.
He's trying to slide Ishmael right on in there, boy.
Say we believe in God and what has been sent down to us into Abraham, Ishmael, Isaac, and Jacob, and the 12 tribes. That don't even make sense. They
Oh,
ain't sick for that.
oh, but God, the Bible said, "Nah, man, get Ishmael out of there, right?"
We believe in what has been given to Moses, Jesus, and the prophets from their God. Why you gotta? The language tells you that they know that it's not their God.
Yeah,
Their language.
Yeah.
Then they try to throw you off with the next part and say we make no distinctions between any of them. It is to him that we have surrendered ourselves. If anyone seeks religion other than Islam, submission to God, it will not be accepted from him.
Yep.
Are you serious? How are you saying that when you talking about nothing but Hebrew Israelites?
that's why.
But if you don't accept Islam, come on, bro.
It
Ain't
ain't.
none of them people you just named Islam.
Mm-hmm. None of them. All right. So we still in the Bible, right?
Yes, sir. I'm still holding Genesis. I'm still in Genesis. You want this word?
Let's still hammer in the point. Read verse 17 and 21, right? Just hammer.
21.
Yeah.
This is the book of Genesis 17 and 21.
Uh-huh.
But my covenant will I establish with Isaac,
But his covenant will be established with Isaac, not goddamn Ishmael, right? Go ahead.
which Sarah shall bear unto thee at this set time in the next year.
So this is what I do, like my forefather Abraham. I do the exact thing to you Ishmaelites, right? Let's get Genesis 21 and 6, right? Because y'all be trying to put y'all with us together, man. I do exactly what my forefather Abraham do to goddamn Arabs, right? And it's right here, right? Go ahead.
The book of Genesis, chapter 21 and verse 6. And Sarah said, God hath made me to laugh.
And that's what Isaac means. He laughs, right? So we're laughing like when Sarah had Isaac, she laughed at that goddamn Ishmael, right? Go ahead.
So that all that hear will laugh with me.
Right, go ahead.
That's jacked up. And she said, who would have said unto Abraham,
Mm-hmm.
Sarah should have given children suck,
Uh-huh.
or have borne him a son in his old age.
Go ahead.
And the child grew and was weaned. And Abraham made a great feast the same day that Isaac was weaned.
Go ahead.
And Sarah saw the son of Hagar the Egyptian, which she had borne unto Abraham mocking.
Uh-huh.
Wherefore she said unto Abraham, cast out this bondwoman.
They said, what?
Cast out this bondwoman
Uh-huh.
and her son.
Right. Get rid of this woman and her goddamn son, right?
For the son of this bondwoman shall not
So what?
uh-huh, be heir with my son.
And that's what happened, Ishmael. You're not heirs with the children of Israel. You are not. And Abraham is going to confirm it, right? Go ahead.
Even with Isaac.
Uh-huh.
And the thing was very grievous in Abraham's sight because of his son.
Right, but don't get it twisted. He was heavy hearted,
But
right?
he did what he had to.
And it's finna tell you, right? Go ahead.
And God said unto Abraham,
It said who?
and God said unto Abraham,
This is what God said to Abraham, right? Go ahead.
let it not be grievous in thy sight
Man, don't worry about that goddamn kid, right?
because of the lad,
Go ahead.
and because of thy bondsman,
Mm-hmm.
and all that Sarah hath said unto thee,
Uh-huh.
hearken unto her voice.
He said, listen to your wife Sarah, meaning God affirmed that Ishmael will not be heirs with us, right? Go ahead.
For in Isaac
It said for in Isaac, right?
shall thy seed be called.
Go ahead.
And also of the son of the bondwoman will I make a nation,
Uh-huh.
because he is thy seed.
So he gets to be a nation because he is your seed, right? Go ahead.
And Abraham was up early in the morning
And this is why I say I take out from my forefather Abraham. I do exactly what Abraham did, right? Go ahead.
and took bread,
Got some bread, right?
and a bottle of water,
And got some water, right? Go
and
ahead.
gave it unto Hagar,
Uh-huh.
putting it on her shoulder,
Uh-huh.
and the child.
This nigga's cold-blooded, man. That nigga cold-blooded. He got some water, some bread. Put that on her.
Here, baby,
Here you go.
Here, I'll take this bottle of spring.
Hey, don't
Here,
forget this
go.
little baby.
Hey, get this little nigga. Take
Yep,
it
take him with you, right? Of course, he ain't a baby, but
I got to get.
I gotta go,
Right
man.
now.
Go ahead.
On now.
Keep going.
That's cold.
Man, that
putting it on her shoulder and the child, and sent her away.
he did what?
And sent her away.
I should go in. He put her wild.
And she departed and wandered into the wilderness of Beersheba.
That's right, man. He gave her some water, some bread, gave her the kid, and said, man, you get the hell out of here, man, because you will not be an heir with my son. So that's what they did, right? I see people putting in the chat, right? What is this? All right. It said when Ishmael decided through Muhammad to take by the sword, it was more clear since Hagar, Ishmael. All right, never mind. But yeah, so we got to get into this thing, right? Let's get Psalms. So since our forefather did this to these goddamn Arabs, man, they had a perpetual hatred in their heart.
Psalms what?
Psalms 83 and 2. Right, man, we're gonna put some water on these damn Arabs. Water and bread, man, and get the hell on, man. All right, go ahead.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 83 and verse 2.
Since our forefather Abraham did that to these people, now they got a hatred in their heart, right? Go ahead.
For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up thy head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come, and let us cut them off from being a nation. That the name of Israel may be no more remembered.
And that's what they did. They came and they took us and they cut us off from being a nation. That the name of Israel should be no more a nation. But here go the crazy thing about it. Them Arabs, the ones who be sitting there at them corn stores who sell you all these madness throughout your community, they know you are the true biblical Israelite. Don't get that twisted. If you they ain't lost the history. We lost our history. If you talk to one of them who ain't sitting there BSing you, bro, he'll tell you you are the children of Israel. About time y'all woke up, bro. All right, go ahead.
They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation. And the name of Israel may be no more remembrance. Verse 5. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee, the tabernacles of Edom, and the Ishmaelites.
And the Ishmaelites, right? Go ahead.
Of Moab and the Hagarenes.
Right.
Jabal and Ammon and Amalek, the Philistines.
So, my fault. Go back over the names. The tabernacles of Edom is the white man. The Ishmaelites are the Arabs. Of Moab, that is the Chinese man. And the Hagarenes are some Hamites, right? Right. So all these people are confederate to taking your name out, right? So the one I wanted to focus on is the Ishmaelites, right? They know who you are, right? I see we come down on time, man. Let me get to a couple more things I wanted to get to. Y'all gotta understand, man. Let me hit some points. I'm gonna get Hadith 1 and 63, right? If it, I don't think it's in there. Right, I'm gonna get the Hadith 1 and 63, right? So let me hit a couple points, man, because I realized we were shorting on time, right? I'm gonna hit the Hadith 1 and 63 because they don't like y'all niggas, and I just have to put it like that. All right, come on. All right, so this is the Hadith 1 and 63. Let me share this right quick. Oh man, the brother joining ATLians, right? So this is the Hadith 1 and 63, right? And it says, what is this? This is what Ishmael did to you, right? Ishmael was considered a white man, right? So this is the Hadith 1 and 63, and it says, while we were sitting with the prophet in the mosque, a man came riding on a camel. He made his camel kneel down in the mosque. Shalom. Tied its foreleg and then said, who amongst you is Muhammad? At that time, the prophet was sitting amongst us, his companion leaning on his arm, while replied, the white man reclining on his arms. So it just described what? Muhammad as a white man, right? So Muhammad is a white man. I gotta, it keeps going on, but that's the point I wanted to get to. Muhammad being a white man, right? And Muhammad having black slaves, right? So let's get to Muhammad having black slaves. Well, in the hadith, let's get to it. Right. So Muhammad was a white man that had black slaves, right? Let me share my screen right quick. This is in the hadith again. That's what's happened, man. They should never let you niggas read, bro. That's what it sounded like.
That's why they didn't. Niggas gonna act up when you start.
Yep. So this is in the hadith, right? And I came and behold, Allah's messenger was staying on, what is this? Staying on the Mashra or Mashraba. I might be pronouncing that wrong. It's the attic room. And a black slave of Allah's messenger, right? So he had a black slave. You know why? Because these Ishmaelites don't like you black people like that, right? So Muhammad was a white man who had black slaves, right? And let me get to a point, right? You know why? Because it's in the Quran that they shouldn't like you. I'm finna because I gotta wrap it up, so I'm trying to speed it up. Let's get Surah 5 and 51, right?
This is Surah chapter 5, verse 51. Believers, do not take the Jews and Christians as allies.
It says what?
Do not take the Jews and Christians as allies.
So Muhammad teaches the other Arabs don't take the Jews and the Christians as allies, right? Go ahead.
They are allies with one another.
They're allies with one another because ultimately the Jews and the first century Christians are the same people. The original Christians or the first century Christians are Jews, right? Go ahead.
They are allies with one another. Whosoever of you takes them as an ally shall become one of them. God does not guide the wrongdoers.
And that's true. Like any other race of people, if you keep being around them niggas, you're gonna start acting like them, right? That's what he's basically saying. You be around black people, you're gonna start acting like them, right? And let's get another one. Let's get Surah 22 and 17, right? And I want to bring up something else, right?
They quoting our prophets, quoting our forefathers, quoting our books.
I got so much stuff.
Tell you don't be an ally with us.
Bro, I got so much stuff, man, but I didn't know this time was gonna fly by this quick. So I have to shorten it up. Like I have so much stuff I wanted to go in. All right, go ahead.
This is Surah 22, verse 17. God will judge between the believers, the Jews, and the Sabians, the Christians, the Magians, and the Polytheians on the day of judgment. Surely God is witness to everything.
Right. So God is basically, God is gonna kill all these people after digging us up in this. Right. But yeah, basically it's okay with them to enslave black people, which contradict everything that nigga was saying earlier, right? He told us to look in the Quran. And the Quran showed us what? Through the hadith in the Quran, Muhammad was a white man who owned black slaves, and it's okay to have problems with you niggas, which shows you black men are in a different form of mental slavery. How he tried to say we was in. You're still in the same mental slavery, except your mental slavery is coerced by Arabs, my nigga. Right? So let me share my screen right quick. And we're going to talk a little bit about the Trans-Saharan slave trade, right? Because what? Just like how them white people enslaved you, them Arabs enslaved you. Matter of fact, I'm finna share a little video. Let me share a video right quick. I was finna go. It's actual, but I think it'd be a lot easier if I share this little video. Fair use, fair use.
Whenever the topic of slave trade comes up, what comes to our minds are the images of black slaves in shackles and chains aboard a ship bound for the Caribbean and other parts of Europe. This was called the transatlantic slave trade. But that is not what we are talking about today. In this episode, we'll take a look at the enslavement that was responsible for over 20 million Africans across the Sahara to Egypt, Syria, and other parts of the Middle East. The Trans-Saharan slave trade. from the rich
I gotta
salt
forget
mines
him.
of
He's a
North
little
Africa
goofy.
were carried along
Oh,
these routes, and every trade had its
Nigeria.
own one. Arabs. The Arab merchants conducted their business between North African states in the West. In return, they brought in weapons, fabrics, and other precious items to sell to the North Africans, even down towards the West. West Africa, how far? The lucrative business meant prosperity for everyone, which led to the need for cheaper manpower that will later be found in slaves. Ooh. The continuous movement of slaves across the Sahara came to be known as the Trans-Saharan slave trade, and this was later be monopolized for hundreds of years, even up to the 19th century. The spread of Islam in West Africa, especially in areas close to the Sahara, bridged the communication gap between traders of African and Arab origin and fostered more trade across the desert. While it was estimated that the transatlantic slave trade, which occurred in later years, led to the forced exodus of over 18 million Africans, the exact number of Africans traded across the Sahara is unknown. Contemporary historians believe that this was an estimate of over 27 million Africans. The journey across the Sahara, which is the natural demarcation between North and West Africa, was about 1,200 miles, which by any means is not an easy feat. But the introduction of desert camels reduced the distance, but not the slaves. They endured the scorching sun, the cold nights, sandy walkways, and sandstorms which gave no warnings. The poisonous reptiles. Oh God. Slaves often go for days without food and water. Please give me water to drink. Dehydration killed more slaves than their slave masters did. Sick and feeble ones would be left behind to die. Rebellious ones would be killed. The women either became sex slaves or concubines, and some of the men were trained as soldiers. Attention! Whatever the case, they all had a common destiny: to be sold as slaves to the highest bidder once the desert.
You saw this slave across the highest bidder across the desert. That's the same thing that happened to you in America. To be sold to the highest bidder
Has been crossed. The Trans-Saharan slave trade was also harsh to the merchants too. If one ever embarked on such a journey, he would have to travel with his entire family or army, or still kiss them goodbye because he could not predict when he would return. Masheri, I may never see you again. In those days, it might take 6 months or 1 year to travel and return through the desert. That is, if you do not meet with the gentlemen of the desert. I'm talking Ali Baba and the 40 thieves, more the 40 thieves than Ali Baba himself. Today, such journeys take only about 2 to 3 hours to cross the desert by air. Whenever you see the inventors of the aircraft, just thank them. As the trade continued deep into West Africa, weaker states were raided. The slaves will work in gold mines and carried it off for long distances. Stronger states imposed taxes when the merchants passed through the territories, and the merchants formed alliances with kings for protection of trade. Those smart devils. These led to the rise of powerful kingdoms who had gold, had slaves, but had stupid kings who exchanged slaves for a bottle of whiskey, which even threatened the sale of our sweet palm wine. Bad king, bad king. One powerful kingdom that we need to know in those times, 1324, was the Mali Empire, where the richest man who ever lived ruled. Yeah, you can verify that on Forbes. His name was Mansa Musa, the 10th Mansa, or Emperor of Mali.
Nasser was the 10th emperor of Mali, right? So he was just going into a little history, right? So we got to let me stop. We got to get to camp. It's like 3 o'clock already, man. like I said, man, don't follow the Arab. Stop following all these other people's religions, man. Come back to this Bible. Come back to God's law, statutes, and commandments, right? And with that, I want to say shalom.
Shalom.